My name is Michael Hughes. I'm 27 years old and I'm a physical education teacher here at St Maurice's High School, which is in Cumbernauld, just outside Glasgow. I don't actually think of myself as an asthmatic anymore. I feel as though I've been cured, or at least know how to keep things in check. I have been, as you said, asthmatic since I was a baby, about 2 years old, and been on medication, was on medication for an awfully long time. From blue inhalers to red inhalers, green inhalers, some steroids, regular courses of steroids 2, 3, 4 times per year for the large part of my life. I knew this medication wasn't making me any better. It was at times, alleviating the symptoms and making me feel as though I could get through my day, and always having been very, very sporty and wanting to be very active, and that's where my passion was. Anything I could do that could, maintain my interest there, I was going to do. Unfortunately, at times it got really bad, and at times off school, when I was really young in hospital, But as I say, I persevered with the medication. At that age, and not having the kind of awareness I do now, I thought this is the way ahead, this will make me better. But it was a long process, and I didn't seem to be getting anywhere. As a matter of fact, just into my kind of adult life, when I was 20 or 21, I was trying to train for my sport, which is football. And the harder I trained for the team, and the harder I worked, because I knew there was something wrong. I couldn't quite achieve the standards or the levels of fitness which I knew I should have been as a young man who didn't drink and didn't smoke and looked after himself. I just knew there was something wrong, and it got to one occasion I can remember in a game where it was quite dangerous actually, and I had to come off after about 20 minutes. I had to be substituted because I felt dreadful, had palpitations, I couldn't see properly, my head was light, and I've never felt anything like that before, so I came off, and that's when really the danger signal started with me. I thought I need to really do something about this, and the medication is making me worse. I had a kind of intuitive feeling that something else could be done. I heard recently somebody says rather than put out the forest fire, try and put out the match, which is causing the problem, and I suppose I was trying to find what the match would be. Even up to that point, I had read articles about somebody called Jill McGowan, this nurse in the media who had sold her flat to fund research to help asthmatics, and that was my first kind of idea of what Buteyko was about, and that was some years ago. And then, my interest was sparked again when I was having further problems, and I saw in a programme here called Richard and Judy, where Jill took the challenge to try and help these 2 young people in a very short period of time to be able to control their breathing by doing an exercise called steps, and I was really intrigued by this, and I thought maybe that's something that I can really get into, having already tried homeopathy and things like that, which didn't have any real impact on me. So I stayed tuned into this, and then that led me to do my own research on the internet. I had thought about phoning Jill and thought, okay, let me see if I can try and get ahead of this myself. So I went into research mode, and I started looking on the internet for examples of what exactly Buteyko was about. What did I have to do to help my own condition? So I came across a few websites, and I started to do some of the exercises. I didn't necessarily fully understand the physiology or the purpose of what I was doing. I did it, and I have admittedly had some good results with that short term, and my game improved and my training improved short term, but I felt as though again I hit a brick wall, and I was probably lacking just that little bit of additional help, additional knowledge about what I was actually trying to achieve. So I hit a wall with that, and eventually I bit the bullet, because I again felt as if it was impinging on my career. And as a young man, I still felt as though I could achieve something in the game. So I phoned Jill, and she couldn't have been more helpful. She said, look, there are various times when I'm available to come and join the class and take part. So I think that's now about 4 years ago. 4 years ago when I had, it's a bit cheesy, but a road to Damascus experience. I genuinely feel as if it's the most miraculous thing and the best decision I've made in my life to go and attend the course, because eventually it has changed my life. You know, after phoning Jill and going along to the class, I had, you know, I still wasn't 100% sure at this time if these exercises could help me get to this the kind of state of health that I wanted. But I went to a Monday evening, where Jill had like an open night, and people with, I suppose, they had some reservations, would go along, just sit and listen, and you know, judge for themselves whether or not they felt as though it was beneficial. And listening to her for 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes, I was completely sold, and I thought, this is something that I absolutely need to do. I need to sort this out. So I went along to the class, which the first part of the course is very intense. I went Monday to Friday, straight from work into Glasgow, where we did the course, and it was, you know, about an hour or so. And Jill not only took us through the exercises, but what I found particularly helpful was she talked me through the negative impact that the medication I was taking long term, and she said she made me aware of what these would do to my system with regards to, you know, the production of adrenaline in your system and how that can impinge on your athletic performance. And I suppose the fact I'm involved in physical education and have a little bit of knowledge in that area, I was able to kind of join the pieces for myself, and then I got a greater picture of what was happening to my body, the gases in my body. I found it terrifically easy to change the way I was breathing. I still perform the exercises now, but largely the benefit I gained through the exercises was initially the first week, yeah, but the first year, I would say, completing the course, I made a real effort to perform the exercises 3-4 times a day, which just completely changed my life. And I can always remember the first time I did the exercise called steps, which is where you take a normal breath in, a normal breath out, hold your nose, pinch your nose, and then walk as fast as you like, which is the purpose of that is to try and increase the carbon dioxide in your body as much as possible, so that you can then reduce your breathing even more. And the first time I did steps, I can remember feeling quite nervous because I'm quite competitive, and I thought, well, I hope I do well, I hope I do quite well, I hope I get a decent number. And as it turned out, I don't think I did, compared to what I can do now. But having completed that first set of steps, and then I stopped, and in 3 breaths, I was completely back to normal, and I just couldn't believe it. I thought, well, sometimes in a warm-up for a game, I'm breathing as much as I can, and I'm more tired than I am now, you know, and I felt completely at ease and at peace, and it's just a fantastic feeling. From before, I spoke about being maybe 13, 14, 15 when it was particularly bad, just feeling constantly on edge and constantly hyper, and maybe some teacher saying to me, you need to calm down a bit. And I felt, well, why wouldn't I be calm? But having then completed the exercises and almost putting my body to a state of peace and ease, I understand what they meant. Yes. I understand that I would seemingly be a bit hyperactive, you know. I feel as though now I don't speak as much, I don't eat as much, I feel calmer generally, I don't necessarily do anything to excess, I feel much, much calmer.